First story of the night by Sir Mustache. And again, try to predict how it is about to go off the rails. Just interject whenever you have a suspicion.
Have you read these already?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a curated list.
Alright, I figured, but...
So, back in 2015, when 5e was just getting its legs, a group I raided with, I assume on an MMO, wanted to start playing some homebrew D&D on weekends. I was thrilled for the opportunity to join them since I hadn't gotten the chance to play tabletop since I graduated high school a decade prior. The campaign was fairly typical for a beginner DM. Generic evil cult wants to revive Tiamat. We should stop them. That is, until we met a red dragon. The Red Lady. She was a wall to our next objective, and she was very interested in my dragonborn wizard.
Oh no.
It gets worse.
Oh no.
Now for context, I am a gay man. And I've never made that a secret. So I was thrown off by these advances. Still, I played along for the comedy of the scene acting out, turning her down. I acted out for the comedy of the scene, acting out, turning her down. That was just me wording it weird.
Okay.
She didn't accept my disinterest.
Oh. No.
So you can guess who the problem player here is.
Yeah.
The DM.
Oh, that's the worst.
But she was only a temporary character, so I was willing to tolerate the eccentricity.
They're going after Tiamat, right?
Yeah, trying to stop Tiamat from getting summoned. Which means final boss battle is already set up to be dragon, and
Yeah.
the roadblock was a dragon. And dude is playing a dragonborn. So anyway, I was willing, she was only a temporary character. I was willing to tolerate the eccentricity. I was incorrect in that assumption.
I'm assuming she comes back either frequently or... Frequently? Okay.
Also, it's worse.
Huh? It's worse. Okay.
Once we were past the Red Lady's lava, we had to scale the surrounding mountains to reach the temple dedicated to a white dragon.
Are all of them gonna be...
The white dragon was a lot harder to deal with on a plot basis, but also kept making eyes at my dragonborn.
Okay, so all of the dragons that they face are going after the... Did the DM have a crush on the guy?
Maybe not the guy.
Fair.
Possibly just the fact that he was playing a dragonborn.
Yeah.
This is where I screwed up and didn't assert my boundaries. I'm going to assign half blame, not full blame to that.
Yeah.
Definitely stand up for yourself. Like,
Yes.
that is like rule 0.
Yeah.
But in my mind, they were only thinly veiled innuendos. My character was quite conceited, so I thought the DM was just playing into that. Perhaps I should consider it flattering, considering most men would want to have a bunch of beautiful, powerful women throwing themselves at them. Just not me.
That just feels icky. I don't like that.
Yeah, if the DM is trying to fulfill a perceived male fantasy, shut that down quick.
Yeah. That's just weird.
It all culminated in the final stretch where we had to fly to the risen temple of Tiamat in the sky, and wouldn't you know who showed up to be our escort? Why, yes, it was the Red Lady, once again, here to make unpleasant innuendos about me riding on her back. I just outright refused to get on her back to the point where the session was stalled because it was so railroady it couldn't allow me to be left behind. Which means the DM is railroading these, like, constant, unwanted advances.
That's just not okay.
When the other players pressed me on why I was suddenly refusing to cooperate,
If
What
someone's
if they-
uncomfortable,
what have they been doing the whole time? Watching this. I just straight up said I didn't like being on the receiving end of this scaly HR violation. I am not screwing this dragon.
fair.
God. Things got awkward with the DM sulking about being scolded.
If someone asserts their boundaries, just don't be mad about it. It's not that hard to not be creepy.
His girlfriend stepped in and mediated
Oh,
for
God.
us. The girlfriend has been there the whole
The
time. I thought that'd be the end of it. We got to fly up to the top of the temple without incidents. However, I quickly noticed that the DM would punish me harder if I ever failed a check. I saw the writing on the wall, but I enjoyed the players so much I was willing to bear the passive aggression for the rest of the campaign. Fast forward 2.5 years later. So I guess it died down for a bit.
I'd assume so.
Yeah. I mean, they're playing an MMO most of the time. This is a side thing on the weekends. I invited one of my in real life friends to join the group after another player was kicked out for unrelated reasons. By this point, I had forgotten about the whole dragon mommy incidents. So when he picked a dragonborn paladin, I didn't think anything of it.
Oh no.
So it wasn't about him specifically.
It was about
about-
dragonborns. That's
Yeah. So the DM is just really horny for dragons. Surprisingly, our party does not meet in a bar. We are attacked on the road towards a major city. We manage to make it to the first town and tell the authorities about the rogue wizard hiding in the woods. That's when the busty Dragonian maid showed up.
You know when an author writes something and you just know it's a poorly disguised fetish?
Yeah. This is an overt fetish by now. She sure took a shining to our paladin very quickly. Now, my friend is a great guy, but he's not much of a role player, so he mostly just ignored her. But she did not seem dissuaded. Hey, Tempest, do you want to join?
Hi, Tam.
I'm sending an invite. You can accept or not.
Join us.
Yes.
Yes.
Pretty sure I invited. Okay.
That's fine.
Yep. Of course, by this point, the red flags parade had started, and I was in my buddy's private messages fuming about the last time the DM pushed his dragon shipping. My buddy's a bit of a troll, so he started to deliberately ignore her advances, talking around her, avoiding her on return trips. The DM predictably began to force the issue, eventually escalating to, I will let you guess.
I don't think I want to guess. I don't think I want to know.
Rolling charisma checks against our paladin's wisdom.
Read the fucking room, dude.
The DM was rolling to seduce a player character. It's not like this guy's desperate. He has a girlfriend.
Yeah, like, calm down.
Like,
Go kiss your girlfriend.
give her like one of those reptile masks with the articulated jaw. Have her wear that and keep it in the bedroom. Don't bring it to the game.
Yeah.
So our conversation, trying to get information, was peppered with poor attempts at seduction and the rolling of dice. Eventually, the DM rolls a nat 20.
Melt the die. No, he didn't.
The barmaid throws herself into the paladin's lap.
Drop her on the floor.
Yeah.
That'll catch her.
Now the DM and half the table were trying to joke about it. Some extreme denial going on with the other players.
Yeah.
Acting like he has no choice in the matter now. I'm furious, but my buddy, level-headed guy that he is, just says in private messages, we should just leave.
Yeah.
In-game, he just pushed the woman off, grabs my character by the arm, and promptly marches us out. We just left the game and never really spoke to that group again.
That was probably the best resolution possible for as little conflict as possible. I would not have been able to just walk away like that. I probably would have yelled at someone.
All right. I'll give you the choice. Do you want wholesome or gross?
Wholesome?
Okay.
Oh no.
Okay. This one is by Sour Apple Friend. I run 2 D&D games. One I run at a local game shop. It is family friendly, and I welcome anyone who can behave and take a shower.
Fair enough.
Second game is at my house with me and my 4 oldest friends. So he's got the one out in public he does as a service. And then there's his personal game for just him and his friends at his own house. Second game is run at my house. We get drunk and screw around in the campaign. So it's not serious, and there's alcohol. It's a campaign we've been running since 5e first came out, and it is very much built around our terrible humor. Not very public place friendly. All right. So far, like, there's nothing wrong here. You can have your own personal game.
Yeah. I every now and then run games in our basement. It's normal.
Like, even if you're running a game out of a game shop, you can have your own personal. New player is a nice 9-year-old kid named Simon.
Oh.
He loves playing in my public game and found out I run another game.
Oh.
Asked if he could join, and I told him it wasn't really open to new players. He was cool about it. Simon is a good kid. Can you guess where things go off the rails?
Annoying parent?
Simon's mom found out later when she picked him up and tried to force him into my other game.
always feel bad for those kids.
Yeah. I had to get the owner of the game shop to help me calm her down and get her to leave. Simon was in tears apologizing.
Oh,
I felt
kid.
so bad for him. Owner told Mom if she ever set foot in his store again, he'd ban her and Simon from the store and get the police involved if he had to. She left in a hurry and almost T-boned a car in her rush to leave.
Poor Simon.
I know. Simon's dad drops him off now. He came
That's
to
good.
me and the owner and begged our forgiveness.
Well, at least an adult in
this is
Simon's
where-
life is being mature. Oh, no?
Can you guess the mom's motivation?
No.
Turns out the mom wanted Simon in my game as a form of babysitting so she could go out and party with her other terrible mom friends.
Ugh. Hire a babysitter.
I know. We told him as long as it's him dropping Simon off, there won't be any issues. He's a good kid, and I'd hate to lose our monk. Honestly, that's a good class for a 9-year-old.
Yeah. I think the first time my brother and I played D&D, I played a wizard and he played a fighter.
Okay. This is the one where it gets gross.
Oh,
They were both going to happen. You just got to choose the order.
I know.
Okay, this one is by D&D CK3 fan. I don't know what that is.
It's probably fine. Everything all right?
No, just checking to see if there were anybody else joined or messaged. All right. This happened a couple months ago. I was playing D&D on Discord with a couple of friends and friends of friends. After our last DM lost interest and ended the campaign, I decided to DM for them. I announced that we were going to do a new campaign on our group Discord server. One lurker, I will call him Jerry for the purposes of this story, asked if I was German. I had a German word in my username. And I said yes because I am German American. He then said he wanted to play with us. Any predictions yet?
That guy isn't German, is he? The guy who was asking.
Oh, Jerry? Jerry is definitely not German. But, like, that's not a problem.
Right. It's not a Nazi, is it?
I started the campaign about 2 weeks later. It was a post-steampunkish world a century after an apocalypse.
That's cool.
Jerry rolled up an elf paladin girl with chibi eyes and a passion for the purity of the elf race. You called it.
I hate being right sometimes.
Oh, why do weirdos have to make Germany weird?
Right? The Germans I know are such sweethearts.
I know.
I'm dating one of them. He's so sweet.
Okay. He unfortunately ended up being as much of an edgelord as you'd expect,
Yeah.
mixed in with a bunch of rules lawyer type bullshit that he would erroneously invoke to get away with all kinds of shenanigans. Being a rules lawyer and also being wrong about the rules is the worst combination.
Yeah.
That is obnoxious.
What I like is like a rules public defender.
Yes.
If you've got the rules right and it's kind of funny and or it works, I'll let you do it.
Like if
Just
you
don't be a dick.
If you catch the DM violating a rule and bring it up, and then the DM says, no, we're still doing it my way, the
Let it go.
DM is the final arbiter.
Yeah. Like, the rules or guidelines, let it go. If it was an honest mistake and they're like, you're right, my bad.
I'm the kind of DM where if you catch me doing something wrong, even if it destroys the scenario and I have to come up with something else, to be like, oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, scratch the last thing that happened.
Yeah. I never really got corrected when I was DMing a few years ago, but that was because I would sit in my room and read the DM's guide cover to cover.
Oh my god. One of my first sessions, I was running, this was in college, 2002. I had an enemy make a 5-foot adjustment, and the player immediately went like, "Oh no, I get an attack of opportunity," and I'm like, "No, you don't." And he like pointed to the paragraph where it talks about attack of opportunities, and I'm like, "Read the last line of that paragraph." The last line is, "There is no attack of opportunity procced from a 5-foot movement."
Yeah.
Like, okay, where was I? Examples. One time he murdered a human and his half-elf kids and then tried to kidnap their mom as a slave to breed for pureblood elves.
Ew.
That
I feel
is
like that's all you can say. Ew.
I ended up stopping him from doing any of that by threatening to make him an Oathbreaker paladin with no powers. And he tried to argue that he is following his oath to uphold his racial purity.
Ew. Why are we getting D&D Nazis?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Something I told him no god would recognize. He eventually backed down. Okay, that's addressing the problem in character. Dude needs shot in real life.
Yeah.
Shot down in real life. Shot down.
Yes.
Shut down. Shut down in real
There you go. Leave us alone, TikTok. We're being nice.
Tell him in person, out of character, that shit will not fly in this campaign. Then you take him out behind the shed. He would also, throughout the campaign, randomly talk about how much he loves Germany and is dying to go, and how much he loved German art, culture, and history. Yeah, like that
we saw this coming.
Period in the 40s. Yeah, that was the height of Germany to these people. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that, but he would drop it so randomly that it felt like he was pandering. Part of me also worried that his character's obsession with racial purity was an indicator that he loved Germany for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Clearly.
Well, what?
I said clearly.
Oh, well, about a month into the campaign, after this one session in which he leveled up, and I, during the session, remarked on how we had all become friends. So afterwards, Jerry stayed late and said how glad he was that we had become friends. I'm reminded of the old bar story of the bartender who kicks out a Nazi, because if you don't kick them out immediately, pretty soon you now have a Nazi bar.
Yeah. That's something you need to take care of, like, really quickly.
Yeah, because if you don't kick them out, they'll be real nice. And then they'll bring a friend who's real nice. And the friend will bring a friend who's real nice. And then they're not nice anymore.
Yeah.
He then said how much he would like to be able to hang out with me more outside of D&D. I said, oh, that sounds like a good idea. Maybe after next session we can all stream a movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Then he says, I meant just you and me, bro. I'm thinking about moving down to Germany anyway. If I had a sponsor, I could become a German citizen and we could hang out all the time.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I don't think it works that way. You can just let a friend in? What? Like, how does he figure that lets you get citizenship? Just being a friend.
I assume he means, like, vouch for him or something.
Like, he's talking about full citizenship.
Yeah.
I was silent with awkward confusion for a sec, and then I stuttered to say, that's not how that works. Plus, I don't live... He cut me off and said, Germany's new nationalization law allows for foreigners to gain citizenship easier. I just need you to help me out. Come on, be my sponsor.
You met online. You hang out to play D&D.
I then said, even if that's how that works, which I doubt, I'm not a German citizen. Why do you want to move there so badly anyway?
Does he take the toilet paper thickness veil off?
He then said, wait a minute. You said you were German. I then told him, yeah, my dad's side of the family is from Bavaria, but he's an American citizen. He then, dude just assumed.
Yeah.
He then got enraged and accused me of deceiving him and called me the F slur out of nowhere.
Yeah, we could have seen this coming. This is not a surprise.
Right then, that is ban block.
Yeah.
It gets worse.
Of course it does.
I then say, even if I was a German citizen, I highly, highly doubt I could just get you citizenship because some dude I play D&D with wants it.
Yeah.
Again, why do you want this so bad that you were doing all this?
It's also just creepy as well.
Yeah. I asked because honestly, at this point, I was thinking my worst fears in the back of my head were true and he was some kind of Nazi. This is where it gets worse.
See, this is why we take care of it in the beginning, so we don't have to deal with the full crazy part.
Deal with it out of character, and a lot of the shit he was doing would have gotten him booted before you got to the Yahtzee stuff.
Yeah.
It gets worse.
Of course it does.
So yeah, dude asked, why do you even want this so bad? He then went quiet for a second and said, well, America is too strict on certain laws.
Which ones?
I asked him what kind of laws, and he just replies with, sexual laws.
Ew!
Why are you even still talking to him?
Right? The block button's right there, my guy.
Yeah. We go back and forth as I prod him, and eventually he admits that he wants German citizenship because, according to him, the age of consent is 14 in Germany. He thought he could get it from me, so he joined my D&D game to befriend me because he erroneously thought that the new German Act to modernize nationalization that was passed this year somehow meant I could sponsor him to become a German citizen, and he could renounce his American one to avoid legal trouble in the U.S.
So he's a Nazi and a pedo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a surprising combination, but...
A Yahtzee and cheese pizza.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Sweet Jesus.
I didn't say anything after this admission. I just kicked him from the server and blocked him. It took you that long?
Right?
I told the rest of the group that he wouldn't be coming back, and I had his character stay behind in the last town we were in. Thankfully, nobody asked because I didn't feel like explaining at the time. It just left a weird taste in my mouth. I would have drafted a long-ass post with screenshots of why exactly this guy is gone.
That's exactly... Okay. That's so much. I agree with the post thing.
Yeah.
Why was he around for so long?
I think it was like a month. It was either a month or 2 months.
That's still a problem, but it's not... For some reason I thought it was
about
like a year or something.
Okay.
I don't know how time works.
Yeah, this is honestly my first time talking about it, and it's just so insane to think about it. Someone that obnoxiously stupid that he thought his DM could get him German citizenship for the sole purpose of banging underage girls also apparently had this whole complex scheme planned out.
That's creepy as hell.
Never confirmed that the DM actually lived in Germany either. He's an American.
I mean, Nazis are exactly known for being smart.
No. Oh my god, that is the worst kind of guy.
It really is. I can say from experience, you find out a guy is a Nazi or you suspect it, go, get gone, run. It's weird. Just not good.
Alright, so we got 2 left, but they're both kind of lengthy, so we're just going to do one of them. One's D&D. Oh, hey! Real!
Hey!
Yo.
Hello.
Okay.
Do you want to recap what stories we've read so far?
I'm gonna switch to my headset real quick as soon as I find it. Just one
Alright, let us know when you find it. And I will do my best. I am running a fever and tired.
Oh my god. It was a long ass.
You can't see if I'm scuttling around my house like a goblin.
Or a crab?
Yeah, the other story is a long one about a Malkavian in a Vampire the Masquerade game.
Delano will be like, D&D horror stories. In this one campaign, there was this jackass that turned into a giant crab.
Oh, here's the thing. Your shenanigans are hilarious. You'll completely mitigate this whole ass challenge, and I'm like, that was funny.
I'm just like,
okay.
Damn, lots of things. I have 2 tools that I think would make this easy.
It's okay to be a jackass if you're funny about it.
Okay, so since we had a lot of people not able to make last session, Kelsey, along with the other people who couldn't make it, were like keeping one side of the area secure, while the people who were there were protecting the other areas. Mm-hmm. So, as like the zombie horde was surrounding, Real, as giant crab with an AoE damage field around him, while also being able to run at like 90 miles an hour, would just run laps around the inn.
I love that.
I'm like, yeah, okay. So what was supposed to take like 10 rounds to advance to the next phase only took 5.
That is delightful.
It was
A
pretty
nightmare.
good. I enjoyed it. I tried to convince someone to like ride on my back, be like a mobile turret tank situation. I thought that would have been very good, but nobody took that bait.
You should have.
All right. I'm assuming you have your headset. Nez, you want to fill in Real about what we've talked about so far?
Okay, we've had 3 stories so far. First one, OP is playing with some people, and he has a Dragonborn.
Okay, following so far.
DM, eventually they're gonna get up to fighting Tiamat, right? So it makes sense that they're going to be coming in contact with dragons. The dragons want to come in contact with the Dragonborn in the wrong way.
Oh no.
The
And
DM keeps trying to force romances onto this player.
The DM is just like, I want to see these dragons do it.
Essentially, yes. Eventually he puts his foot down. The DM's girlfriend, he has a girlfriend, has to mediate and get the DM to leave this guy alone. 2 years later, his OP's friend joins the game. OP has forgotten about the Dragonborn incident. His friend decides to play a Dragonborn. DM decides that he is going to bring out, was it another dragon or another Dragonborn? I can't remember.
The busty Dragonian maid.
Thank you. That. And the friend is rejecting the advances until the DM decides to start making contested rolls to see if the player has to accept the romance attempts.
Rolling
Wait, is that like
checks
was
on
that like
the player.
is that like a play on the busty Argonian maid?
Yes.
And then eventually, DM gets a nat 20, and the lady throws herself into the PC's lap, and the PC shoves her off, and the two players, the OP and his friend, they end up leaving the campaign. Their characters walk out, they don't talk to the group anymore. That's the first story.
Also,
I'd be like, "Okay, bye."
The
They
first
handled it better
time it
than I would.
happened, even the first time it happened, the player's a gay guy.
That too.
So, like, when he's like, no, I don't want to do this, I'm gay, and yet it still kept happening.
That too.
That's
yeah.
wild.
I forget that not everyone's gay, so I forgot that was important. My bad.
Second one was better. Second one was better.
The second one
He was
is
about a
kind of
9-year-old boy.
yes, it is.
But the 9-year-old was not the problem.
His mother was. So what happens is the OP is running 2 games, right? One for, I believe the rule was, if you can behave yourself, you can play. Be
And you
decent.
shower.
And you
Yeah,
shower.
he ran it at the local game shop.
Yeah. Be decent, be hygienic, you're good. The other game is for him and his friends. They get drunk and just look around.
At his own home.
At his own home, yes. The 9-year-old finds out about the other game, probably doesn't know about the alcohol part. Well, it doesn't really matter, you'll find out why, and asks to join. He's very cool with being told, no, sorry, buddy, not taking new players. 9-year-old kid is like, okay, cool. His mother, on the other hand, thinks this is horrible, a horrible slight. So she comes to pick up her kid, and she's like yelling at OP, demanding that he lets this 9-year-old child play, until the guy in charge of the game store has to step in, be like, lady, knock it off, or I'm calling the cops, I'm banning you, and your kid. And the kid's like crying, trying to apologize, because poor kid is a decent person and his mother sucks. The kid's dad ends up picking him up and dropping him off from then on, but the mother was the one who wanted the child to join the games because she wanted someone to babysit while she went out and partied with her other shitty mother friends. She didn't care if she,
Damn the wine moms.
yeah, she didn't care if she'd be putting her kid in a, like, not a good environment for a 9-year-old child. She just wanted to go party with her friends.
Respect to the kid being like, oh, that's okay. Not every space is for me.
Yeah. And his dad seems decent, so that's good. We have a mature adult parenting this child.
Yeah, that's great.
Yippee. Third one.
Third one is a Jesus fucking Christ, this guy.
Third one I kind of called immediately. OP posts in a Discord server that they're going to be running a game. A guy asks him, hey, there's a German word in your username. Are you German? OP goes, yeah, I'm German. Guy asks to join the game. OP lets him.
German American specifically, he says.
He didn't say that he was German American to begin with. He just confirmed that he was German.
German Argentinian, second generation.
No!
I already closed it, so I can't confirm. So we'll go with, he just said, confirmed yes, German.
He did. I somehow remember that part. But if you've been hearing a high-pitched beeping, that's me checking my temperature periodically.
Oh, haven't heard it once.
Okay, good. I muted at first, and I was like, I don't care. He'll say something if it's a problem. Anyway, so the guy starts playing. It is a really cool setting that I'm going to explain terribly. I apologize. Steampunk, post-apocalyptic, like 100 years after the apocalypse. He shows up, and the guy's called Jerry. He shows up with the dumbest thing ever. I'm not going to say respectfully because I don't like him. And I
An
get
elf paladin girl.
with chibi eyes.
Chibi eyes.
I remembered that.
And the
Who
important
is-
part.
So,
Do you want to say it or should I?
go ahead.
Yeah, his oath was about the...
The purity of the elven race.
Yeah.
Can you
Jesus
see where this is going, real?
Christ. Oh my god.
It only gets worse from there.
Are they just like, surely this German person...
And you will see soon why he wanted. Okay, there's so many layers to how awful this like Jerry guy is.
That's the wild thing about dog whistles is they'll look for them. They're like, that must be one. This is one of
Like,
my
he was
people.
around for a month. He should have been booted at the beginning of that month.
He really should have. Like, it is so easy to recognize this. Anyway, so he tries in game. He tries to murder a human man, kill his half-elven children, and then enslave his wife, his elven wife. DM is like, hey dude, no. But he does it in character, which is the problem.
To make her breeding stock for pure blood elves.
Somehow I forgot that part,
He's just like,
even though I hate it.
this guy
I hate
just
it
like,
so much.
hey guys, what if we, like, what if we didn't kill them? What if we just, like, relocated them? We could put them in a nice, safe little camp. Like,
Oh.
He was so, I genuinely think he may have said something to that effect and OP forgot it.
Yeah, he eventually backed down when the DM was like, you would break your oath. He's like, no, that is my oath. He's like, no god would enforce that oath.
no,
Yeah.
good God, anyways. Damn.
Yeah. So they keep playing, and they shouldn't, because this guy sucks. And they keep playing. And then Del help.
So then she's like, hey, so we should hang out more outside of D&D.
Oh, right, yeah. And then OP is like, oh, we could have a movie night with everybody after
Yeah.
the next game.
Like,
And the guy
stream
goes-
the movie over Discord.
Yeah. And the guy goes, oh, no, I just wanted to hang out with you. And he's like, why? And the guy goes, and this is me poorly remembering the conversation, I'm sorry, Del. Essentially, he says, I want to move to Germany. I want you to sponsor me so I can become a German citizen.
He's like, I'm going to go down to Germany and hang with you. And then the DM's like, I'm German American. I don't live in Germany. And that's not how that works. I
Yeah.
can't just give a friend citizenship.
Yeah. But before he explains that he's German American, he asks the guy, why? Why do you want to become a German citizen? Well, they have different laws than in America. Okay, what laws? And the guy, this weird dude, who I hate, claims the age of consent is 14.
It was worse than just being a Nazi.
Yeah. And then the dude's like, OP's like,
How can you be specifically like so unlikable of a human being?
How are you the worst person alive?
Like this guy 100% leaves hairs on the shower wall. This guy leaves his toenail clippings on the coffee table. This guy, I'm trying to think of more examples here. This guy drinks milk. This guy drinks milk straight from the carton, like,
and puts it back. Yeah, I'd rather play with any of them than this guy.
Yeah. So then, OP explains, A, not how that works. B, I'm German American. I'm not a German citizen. The guy calls him the F-slur and gets blocked, like gets kicked out, which should have happened a month ago.
Yeah.
No one seems to care that this Jerry guy was removed because no one questioned anything.
So they probably figured it out themselves, but
Yeah.
the DM did not post "this is exactly why" with screenshots like I would have.
But I feel like it was so incredibly obvious from his behavior what he was. Like, someone should have said something, you know?
Oh, yeah. All right, you're just in time for the last one.
hell yeah.
Okay, so this is by Blacklister. So this story takes place a while ago. Also, we're playing a game of predict how shit goes off the rails. So just interject when you think you figured out who the problem is. So the story takes place a while ago. This was a campaign that I joined after several failed attempts to get into a group that could stay together. Prior to this, my experience in D&D was limited to 3 or 4 campaigns that never got anywhere. Resultingly, I had made a few characters for each, and none had been used yet. So for this campaign, since there wasn't a wizard yet in the party, I joined as a wizard.
Hell yeah, wizard.
Yeah. Besides myself, the wizard, our party consisted of barbarian, ranger, cleric, and warlock.
A lot of magic.
All right. So of those 5, we can discount the OP as being the problem because why would you rat yourself out?
True.
So of those 4 and the DM, place your bets who's the problem.
Either the warlock is going to be too edgy in a way that's a little creepy, or it's somehow going to be the barbarian, because they are out of place.
All right. Real, any guesses?
My guesses are going to be the DM or the warlock.
Or the warlock. Okay, so that's 2 for warlock, 1 for barbarian, 1 for DM.
Now I feel bad for warlocks.
All right, the campaign took place in the DM's homebrew world with many different nations existing on the same continent. Early on, we found a book that detailed the outline of the BBEG's plans, including what enemies we would have to fight, with clues to finding the linchpin agents that would be leading those forces.
BBEG ditched his diary.
Yeah. The BBEG had orchestrated that all of these forces would be rising simultaneously, so any direction our party went to deal with a problem, another would inevitably rise to prominence elsewhere in the world, even if we managed to beat our target. Which is a really cool idea.
Yeah. I love that.
Reel is paused.
We'll come back.
All right. I'll stop. Oh, you're back. Okay, I like that idea. If you have like a continent with a bunch of different areas that you could go to, one cool thing you can do is make like a plot for each area that has phases, and the number of phases corresponds to the number of areas you can go to. So you start the campaign, everything is in phase 1, you pick a place, do its thing, everything else goes to phase 2.
Yeah.
Pick a place, do its plot, everything else goes to phase 3, and just keep doing that. And whatever place you leave for last, that's where the BBEG is.
I will do that. I like that. And none of my friends are watching this, so I can say that.
I mean, it makes it really easy to do an open world thing where you can choose where you want to go. It takes a lot of preparation.
Yeah, it's very like living world. It's very like things continue on in the world when you're not there.
Yeah. I've always been good at just picking an endpoint and letting them get there. I'm very good at bullshitting.
It's the anti-railroad.
Yeah.
It was a really cool split-path storyline that encouraged the party to think about what force might be more dangerous than others and try to nip those in the bud first. As far as playing the campaign went, things went remarkably well. I ended up giving the DM a lot of advice on how to streamline his storytelling methodology, which, unfortunately, needed a lot of work. DM was receptive to this and worked very hard to improve the story any way he could, and often asked my advice on how to introduce characters or themes into the story to spice things up or slow them down. This to say, I got along very well with the DM and helped him sort of co-DM the campaign, though I insisted I be left in the dark so I could play without spoiling myself. We became very fast friends.
Aw. So the DM has essentially cleared himself of being the problem.
All right, so we got 4 options left. Do you want to change your DM vote to a different player?
Oof. Yeah, the DM seems pretty all right so far. I guess. Let's see. What were the other options? There was a sorcerer.
Was there?
It was
the
wizard.
Who is the OP?
Wizard,
So,
warlock,
barbarian, ranger, cleric, and warlock.
ranger, cleric, and warlock. Oof. I wish I knew subclasses too, man. Subclasses say a lot about a person. I'll move my vote to the ranger. I feel like ranger's been awful quiet.
They've all been quiet. I haven't heard from anyone except the wizard and DM.
Yeah.
2 for warlock, 1 for barbarian, 1 for ranger. Okay. The horror of this relatively normal-seeming campaign came from barbarian.
I was right.
Oh.
Sorry. That was aggressive. I apologize.
Now, Barbarian was very good at roleplay, and nobody complained about his play style in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
The trouble came from Barbarian's constant critiquing of the situation at any given time. This manifested in comments about monsters' AC being too high, or the damage of NPCs we were not so subtly encouraged to run from being too high.
Take a hint. Skill issue.
Or ignoring obvious mechanics during fights and getting frustrated when that fight became harder or boring because of it.
I'm going to be nice.
So not really being situationally aware.
Yeah.
Damn.
Additionally, during the chit-chat between turns, Barbarian would always reference some obscure TV show or character out of nowhere, and if any of us said we didn't know what he was talking about, he would go out of his way to explain the reference, which wouldn't be such a big deal, except he did this all the time.
Constantly.
Oh, God.
And the pace of the game and roleplay was often disrupted because of it. This was especially intrusive when, during roleplay, when one of us was in character, he would, out of character, interject with, "Oh, so it's like X from Y." And if we said we had no idea who or what X or Y was, well, I won't belabor the point. Oh my God. Like, if he thought it was a reference, he would point it out, even if it wasn't.
Jesus.
Things culminated as the party was fighting a mid-boss on top of a mechanized subterranean railway worm.
What? Say that again?
That's a word salad. So think
Is the worm the train
subway,
cars?
but instead of machine, it's a giant worm used for transportation.
It's an Alaskan bullworm.
Working our way from the back to the front.
Nice.
Yes, it was as cool as it sounds. I'm not sure.
Oh no.
I'm not sure about that. The fight ended when I, out of spell slots and with 4 HP left after taking a attack of opportunity from the boss, broke away and rushed to a terminal at the front of the railworm, interfacing with it, I want to ask how, and making the worm arch its back and grind the boss against the ceiling until it was dead.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a satisfying end for everyone.
I assume except for the barbarian.
Everyone except Barbarian,
Look at that.
who, throughout the fight and immediately afterward, bellyached about the DM making the monster hit too hard or the use of overly oppressive mechanics. The boss had a mechanic where if he lowered you to 0, it also popped your first failed death save.
Ooh.
So you only have 2 left.
I mean, I feel like it's a big worm, so that's probably not.
Well,
It's probably not that
the boss
absurd.
is
What they're fighting.
on top of the worm.
Oh,
Yeah. You weaponized the worm to kill the boss.
But yeah,
The
the
worm
boss
wasn't
had an ability that you automatically failed your first death save when he downs you. He repeatedly kept comparing the DM's style to the styles of other game masters he had seen in popular campaigns on social media, saying that because they did or didn't do certain things, the DM was wrong to do or not do other certain things.
I mean, that's obnoxious.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, because it's like, hey, if you knew this, people run their games slightly different. Sometimes it'll just be like that.
And this is from a guy who's not even paying attention to the mechanics that are happening in front of him.
Yeah. That's just rude at that point.
The DM tried to explain that a lot of the difficulty was due to the party rushing into the fight unprepared, and that as a military man in real life, rushing into a situation unprepared often led to injury or death. To which Barbarian dared to go so far as to accuse the DM of being warped and jaded because of their experience in the military, which, as you might have gathered, was a step too far.
We are playing D&D. Calm down. It is never that serious.
And you are making light of the military man's experience.
Yeah. It's D&D. We don't go after people's trauma. Don't do that. That's just a bad... You're
That's
not a
rude.
good person at that point. Don't do that.
I'll play D&D with a veteran. That's cool.
That's not what I meant.
Oh, what are you
I meant the
talking
guy who
about?
was being a dick to the veteran.
Oh, yeah. Most of us were quiet while the DM tried to de-escalate the situation, but eventually it became too insufferable, so I spoke up in the DM's defense, calling out Barbarian for all of his complaining and comparing, and for inappropriately airing his grievances about the DM to the whole party, rather than addressing with the DM privately.
It's just so much when people have like all that going on. Be like, wow, this person is just all around insufferable.
Yeah. And we know that the issue isn't the DM taking criticism, because he takes criticism from the OP. The OP is just not a dick about it.
Yeah. Plus, like, nobody is going to be Matt Mercer.
Yeah.
That's true. You're not playing at a table with voice actors.
Yeah.
Oh, the deck is so stacked in their favor. They're already actors.
Yeah.
I told him he was out of line to criticize the DM so personally and openly, and in the middle of the session too, as we hadn't ended yet. And that he needed to shape up and be mature about things.
I'm glad that someone is saying something to someone in one of these stories.
Having broken the party's silence, the rest began to raise their voices in support of the DM as well. Even the cleric, whose character had died in the fight. Like, he is not complaining about the boss giving out too much or, having one of his death saves automatically fail. Barbarian, seeing no one was agreeing with him, promptly dismissed his attitude. Oh, get ready to get mad.
Oh, Lord.
Promptly dismissed his attitude as a consequence of his autism and bid the party good night in a huff.
I tried to be nice earlier, and I forgot what mean thing I wanted to say. And I'm mad about that. Because some people need a little bit of correction that isn't polite.
Oh, that is...
If you are using your neurodivergence to excuse terrible behavior, you're just a bad person.
Yeah. Barbarian never really did learn to avoid tangents or stop complaining. I never appreciated how he never apologized to the DM, even after the DM considerately agreed to take his advice to heart and double-check his NPCs and monsters' stat blocks. And as someone with family members who have autism, using it as an excuse for inappropriate behavior is never, ever acceptable.
Yeah.
Barbarian also had a very bad habit of demeaning any form of religion in real life. Going out of his way to make inappropriate comments to the party whenever the subject was even remotely referenced.
I just don't understand how all these people find, like, the worst people alive.
I mean, I found like 4 of them in freshman year, so.
It's mostly they have no other choice.
Yeah.
These are the people who showed up.
Yeah.
When this happened, the party collectively, including the DM, shut him down, peacemaking and bringing things back to the subject at hand. However, Barbarian always needed to have the last word, offering I'll just say this.
Oh, Lord.
And the party trying to interrupt, saying, no, we're dropping it. To which he went on to offer his final 2 cents anyway with and that's all I'll say.
Was it 2 cents or was it dried shit?
It was probably dried shit, and that is coming from an atheist. I will let you believe whatever you want. I have no place in your skull.
Yeah, I don't care.
And or heart, whatever you believe, I don't care.
Yeah. Let people live. If they're not hurting anybody, who cares?
This particular behavior got so bad, the DM had to pull me aside and ask if I wanted to have him kick the Barbarian out of the campaign. As a religious person myself, I'm open to debate and conversation and welcome anyone to conversate about what they believe without prejudice, which the DM was aware of. Said that while I found the Barbarian's behavior distasteful, I don't think it was my place to make that decision and left it to the DM's discretion one way or another.
We've moved to so many different topics within this one person that I forgot we were talking about the same person.
Oh, I'm going to send an invite to...
I feel like if someone is offering to remove someone from a game for you, they're, at the very least, when I did it, they're kind of done with that person as well. But if you're uncomfortable with someone, you should vocalize that. You don't have to say, kick this guy out. You can say, hey, I don't want to be around this person. Yeah.
All right, so the climax occurred after a long, multi-session heist had been planned. And in the midst of the operation, one of the major bosses crashed the party, demanding the party's surrender.
Rude.
Yeah, so they planned a heist. They were in the middle of doing the heist. Surprise boss fight. That's a fun session.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Quite rude on the boss's part. I mean, let people heist in peace, sir. Let them rob you.
Try to do crimes, thanks.
Yeah, like, it's not illegal if we don't get... I mean, I guess I did get caught, but...
Well, they can still get out of it.
Yeah.
I knew the DM was stoked for this fight, as he's been telling me he had the perfect music planned for when the boss showed up, and had been preparing for the encounter all week. Initiative is rolled, music kicks on, and we're off to the races.
I love stuff like that.
Yep. Or at least we would have been. We were barely 2 rounds into combat when the boss caught one of the players with an ability that... Oh, hold on. I may
Dell.
have attributed something to an earlier fight. This is the one where it's one of the... Yeah. This was the boss that automatically makes you fail a death save.
So the cleric died normally.
Oh, no, it was a different thing. I'm just skipping over.
Okay.
But
The cleric died abnormally.
there was a mechanic, but yeah.
Yeah.
This was the
word for it.
one that hits you and you automatically fail a death save. While the party was reeling with excitement from the revelation, the barbarian was less than thrilled.
Did he sit on his axe?
I mean, okay, if you're at a player in a game and a boss like pounds someone to the ground and is like, all right, not only are you at 0 HP, but you automatically fail a save, wouldn't you think that is kind of a hype moment? Like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's cool as hell.
He piped up, breaking through the tension and the ambiance with the grace of a nail-spiked bat.
Naturally.
Hey, DM, did I ever tell you your boss fights are bullshit?
I mean, they already told him his opinions are bullshit, so...
Now, personally, I think Barbarian did mean it as a joke. But if
Yeah.
it was poorly timed, and as the straw that broke the DM's back, DM stopped the fight right then and there, had a say with Barbarian, and promptly asked him to leave the campaign.
I feel that. That's fair.
Again, the Barbarian offered his justification for his words in how he had seen other campaigns handled online.
Did you notice there's no cameras, Mr. Barbarian?
But there was no undoing what was done, and Barbarian was forced to leave the campaign. To make matters worse,
You need to invite the, dang it, they're right there, and I can't read it for some reason. Like, I can read it, but I can't say it, but it's... Real help. They were in the chat, they switched to the other...
oh, Kane,
Thank you.
if you want
Yes.
at the very end, I'd bring you on.
Fair enough.
Like, we're at the final stretch for this stream. To make matters worse, we had just brought on a new player to replace Cleric, who was dipping out to focus on school.
Well, good for them.
That session,
Oh,
unsurprisingly, the new player did not stay.
yeah. That's fair.
Just like with surprise to no one.
While the campaign is still ongoing, we've
Oh.
had to look for 2 new players to replace Cleric and Barbarian, which was a trial in and of itself. Sadly,
Yeah.
I think Barbarian simply suffered from the desperate shock of playing a game that didn't follow the methods of popular RPG streams that he liked.
Yeah.
He's
I'm
like,
sure-
this isn't Critical Role.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a moral in this story, but I'm frankly too exhausted to transcribe it fully, so I'll keep it short. Mind your P's and Q's in a social setting. This includes knowing when to say nothing at all. If you got a problem you can't stay silent about, take it up with the DM in private. If the DM makes a decision that you're not happy with, it's better to leave the campaign than to complain about everything you don't like, especially if you're complaining out in the open. It's not fun for you, it's not fun for the other players, and it's definitely not fun for the DM.
Yeah.
And remember the golden rule, no D&D is better than bad D&D.
Yeah. I think it's one thing if you're at a table full of people who like going on tangents and who like making references and whatnot, but if no one else is vibing with that, it takes like 3 times to get that, not even. I'm not great with social cues sometimes, and I can't always hear very well, especially in calls, so sometimes I'll accidentally talk over someone, but it's really not that hard to try harder to not do things like that.
Well, even then, I feel like they were, like, talked to about it directly a couple times, like, hey, this is disruptive. Can you do that less?
I just reread that first boss that I attributed the death save to. His thing was a passive AoE and 2 guards that couldn't die unless you killed them at the same time.
That's neat.
Yeah.
That sounds annoying, but that sounds neat.
Yeah, it's a mechanic. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
But like, oh my god. All right. Who was the worst?
Nazi?
The Nazi pedo?
Yeah, like, I feel like that's a really easy question now.
So out of even counting the mom sitting at the table with her wine friends, the one if you could only boot one off the table, it's the Yahtzee.
Yes. I don't...
That's fair. That's the right answer.
There was one point where someone was like, hey, can you help me set up a server? I was like, sure. Their boyfriend shows up and I'm like, this man is blatantly a Nazi. I'm out. Like, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
You say, hey, does this person believe in like the master race? Probably not this person for my table.
Nope. All right. That is it for this one. I might do like this once a month or so.
I liked it.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm sure Reddit's full of them, so.
Oh, yeah. This is like all stories from just the last week.
Oof.
Oh my god.
Yeah, these are recent.
D&D community, what the heck?
So yeah, I've barely scratched the surface.
Yeah.
So it has been fun. Until next time.
See you guys around.
Bye.
I will probably put this up on the D&D YouTube channel.
Might as well.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully see you both tomorrow.
Later.